welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. To all kinds of family, we chose this one. This is episode 342, Ferrari, from 2023. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode is brought to you by the Ferrari FXX. With a record-breaking V12 engine, it was created exclusively for use on the track, the Ferrari FXX.
Well, shout out to Ferrari FXX, and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. Our Lap 14 kicks off next week. We wanted to do this movie when it was in theaters, because people saw it, car movie, whatever. But
yeah, but it came out on Christmas.
It's the worst time of the year for us. So,
yes.
Now it's on home video, so we're doing it now.
Exactly.
My favorite part of this movie is, because I didn't see this in theaters. Did you see this in theaters or no?
No. I didn't see it in theaters. My Christmas week was fucked. We went to Rachel's parents' house, and yeah,
My favorite part of this movie is when he's leaving Shailene Woodley's house, and his son, Piero, is in the window, and he just goes, Ferrari.
Ferrari.
I was like, Ferrari,
Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari.
Like, I like this movie a lot, but like that was just stuck in my head all day. I was just like chanting it, like walking around my house. I'm gonna put that in.
You did like this movie a lot. That's actually kind of surprising to me. We said there was enough grief for you. There's a lot of grief.
Well,
I didn't think you would like it
because like I like the Michael Mann thing. I think it looks great. I think it sounds great. I think it's really well acted.
Looks great, sounds great. Yes.
Biopics are not necessarily my thing. I just find them kind of more interesting structure. Like it's.
That's so strange because I fucking love biographies. Like, even books as biographies, I really enjoy them. If I care about the person at all, I really like it.
Well, what I think works really well about this, the same thing, and we're off topic already, but I liked Selma a lot because it was basically a Martin Luther King biography, but it was more about the March on Selma. And this is a Ferrari biopic, but it's like more about the Mille Miglia, like the one thing, like building up for that. Like it's not like he was born in this town and he went to the war and he met this woman.
No, you don't follow his whole life. You pretty much get like 10 years, like, but mostly like a year.
There's a focus here that I think works really well. It's just that biopic, I don't know, but I like the movie a lot.
Okay.
Set in the summer of 1957 with Enzo Ferrari's auto empire in crisis, the ex-racer turned entrepreneur pushes himself and his drivers to the edge as they launch into the Mille Miglia, a treacherous 1,000-mile race across Italy. Directed by Michael Mann, who wrote Heat and Thief and Manhunter and Collateral and Public Enemies. Written by Troy Kennedy Martin, who wrote the original Italian Job, which we covered. Also, the movie Red Heat. Produced by 16 different executive producers and 17 producers, just all over the place. Shot by a guy who seems like he's Fincher's cinematographer, Eric Messerschmidt. He shot The Killer and Mank, the two most recent Fincher movies.
Yeah.
Budget of $95 million, made a whopping $37 million at the box office. This movie ate shit hard at the box office, despite having a 71 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 72 on Metacritic.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Like, I didn't see anybody talking about this, right?
No.
At all. And it's Adam Driver, like... You have the whole shot. You have Clay eating in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so it's weird because I was personally over. I mean, December is always hard. Now that I have to fly, I don't want to say have to fly, but now that I fly down to my family instead of being up here, like having my sister fly up here. Yes. That's like 4 days I'm out of commission. Like I can't like if my parents are at their house near me, my sister flies up, like at a certain point I'm leaving there and I could theoretically go to the movies at 9:00 at night or whatever and be fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm not leaving my sister's house at 9:00 at night and being like, I'm going to go see a movie. It's just like, we're going to not, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a different thing. And then this year in particular, I felt like there were like 8 movies that like I wanted to see but wasn't like super antsy to see any of, like this and like Iron Claw and Aquaman, and like there's a bunch of things I'm just like, I would see that, but I don't know.
But I also know it's gonna be on streaming in a month and a half,
also
and
that.
like exactly,
people are also in like Oscar mode, and this was like kind of Oscar baity, but I actually don't know if this.
It got 0 nominations. I'm checking off my list as we go, and 0 nominations.
Yeah, so.
Which I felt this was very Oscar baity and was assuming that this would probably either like this, Napoleon would get a lot of nods. You know, they always like a biopic type situation.
Well, also Iron Claw, which is a biopic, got 0 too. Like that was a big, people consider that a big snub. So I don't know.
But that's another A24 movie, and A24 had like 3 or 4 Best Picture noms. So.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's no crazy credits, unfortunately.
Damn.
Michael Mann tried to get this movie made for 30 years. There was an article in 1993 that said he was making this with Robert De Niro as Ferrari. That
would have been sick.
But they made Heat instead.
Well, serendipitous.
Yes.
I like that. That's how that worked.
They made Last of the Mohicans, and then they're like, let's do another movie together. And they're like, let's do Ferrari. And then that didn't work, so they did Heat. So then, in 2015, another guy you love, Christian Bale, was like, hey, we worked together well on Public Enemies, which we covered for Channing, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think so. That sounds about right.
I want to make sure that that's right before... Yes, where Channing dies in, like, the first, 10 minutes.
Yes. Now I remember. Yeah, this was counter to what was the end of the world.
Oh, War of the Worlds. Yeah, where he's not.
War
in
of
the
the Worlds, where he's not in the movie.
We did 8 episodes of Magic Mike's, and he is not in one of them, and he's killed in the first 10 minutes of another one.
Yes, all the good parts.
What a show! What a show we did. So Christian Bale was like, "Yeah, I love doing Public Enemies. Let's do Ferrari." And then he's like, "Ooh," because Christian Bale is Christian Bale. He's like, "I can't gain the weight that I want to gain," which Adam Driver just seemed like Adam Driver with gray hair. Like, it didn't look like he gained any weight for this at all. So who knows? But he's like, "I can't gain the weight in the time I would need, so I'm not going to do it."
That's the
most Christian Bale thing of all time.
That's what I mean. Like, if Christian Bale replied to you and was like, "This sounds amazing. I would do it, but I can't get fat enough fast enough," you'd be like, "Yeah, I bet he believes that."
So Christian Bale drops out, and but this is within the last 10 years. So then Hugh Jackman replaces him.
No, don't want to see.
Then he drops out, and Adam Driver takes over in January of 22. So basically, almost 2 full years before this movie comes out, he's
new guy
cast, and then they film it in the last year, and then they put it out.
Feels very Fast and the Furious of them. Fast and loose, and just whatever it just as it goes, and the ideas change. And
I think this is seen a lot. I think when there's a successful male director, because there's women don't have this luxury, female directors.
Yes,
but they're like, I really want to tell this story, and it's always kicking around in their head. And they eventually, they're just like, okay, it's this guy. Okay, it's this guy. Like Scorsese does this too. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, it's gonna be De Niro. Oh, it can't be De Niro. Okay, it's gonna be Leah. Oh, it can't be Leah. It's gonna be. It's just like whoever they're working with then. And now it's Adam Driver. This is also his first movie since Black Hat, which came out 8 years ago. So there's a long time between Michael Mann movies. So I don't, who knows?
He's trying to make Ferrari. Makes sense.
What do you know about the Mille Miglia as a race?
Nothing. This is an interesting race to me. So races that I have watched, followed, seen, know about are the endurance races. Is this on the endurance races? Is this part of the World Endurance Cup or whatever that features Le Mans and these? I'm assuming it's part of that grouping.
Well, it no longer exists because it was too violent.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, you can't really be blowing down a street where you could walk out in your front yard and see the cars with no barriers.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That makes sense.
We will talk about the specifics of what happens in this one, but this is the one in 1957 this one follows is the last in its original format, okay? So they did 24...
become something else? Go ahead. Continue.
Well, so they did 24 versions of this.
Okay.
Between 1927 and 1939, it's 12 of those. And then 1947 and 1957. So they took 10 years off for the war, which makes sense. So some bad stuff's going on in Europe. Let's not drive through Italy. But they did it before World War II, after World War II. In those 24 car races, 56 people died, including 35 of them in the second half when cars got faster and it was harder for people to get out of the way.
Of course, yeah.
So after this iteration, they have a safer version for 4 years, and they're like, you know what? We got to count. This is crazy. We can't do this.
Because this is as close as you get to a modern day Gumball as you would have.
Right, but Gumball's a comedy, and this is just weird.
No. There's a real Gumball.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? This is modern day Gumball that you're we're not shutting anything down. Shit can happen. You're on streets. This isn't a street race for F1 where there's barriers and paddocks and blockades and it's set up for this. No, this is no, you just do the race in the middle of the day and whatever happens, happens.
Well, because like 1,000 miles is like a long ass race. Like even if
That's not short. Yeah, that's days.
Like if they're talking about going 200 kilometers an hour, right? So like that's in what's that in miles? Like 120. Like that's like at top speed, like an 8 or 9 hour. But this is like a full day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
This
yeah.
is a long ass race.
Yes. Very long.
So compare the lack of safety, the lack of control in the race to the filming.
The
of
cars,
this.
the lack of safety in the vehicles themselves.
For sure, yes.
They're just rocket ships.
And no one gives a shit. They're just like, this car doesn't have an ashtray. The Maserati has an ashtray. Just like, maybe you try not to die.
Yeah. Well, like these are not. There's all these stories of like F1 drivers driving like former F1 cars, and they're just like, holy shit, how did everyone not die?
Okay, yeah.
Like their first thought is just like, oh my god, like you all should have died immediately. Like this is just chaos. You know, like you have to be paid because there's no computers to like do any calculation. It's just you're driving, raw dogging it. It's crazy.
In filming the movie, Adam Driver could not drive any of the original cars. They're like, you're not getting in. Insurance is like, no, you're not getting anywhere near that because like these cars are death traps. We're not going to let you anywhere near them.
Death traps and millions of dollars each.
Yep. Patrick Dempsey drove replicas of them, which had no protection. Like there was no like extra whatever. They're just like, we made replicas of these crazy death trap cars. So Patrick Dempsey got to drive around a little bit. A funnier story about Patrick Dempsey in this movie is that
he was wild to see in this movie, by the way, before you get into there. Like I looked and I was like, is this white-haired Patrick Dempsey? And it absolutely was white-haired Patrick Dempsey. And he played a good character. I thought he was doing really well. From the last thing I like really saw him in was McDreamy, sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Like
so,
that's like that's
well,
all
no, because he was also in
some movie you just saw, but I didn't see that movie.
He was in a horror movie that we just talked about because that's
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because
yes,
Thanksgiving.
You saw it. I didn't see it.
He was people's sexiest man because he's like, I got these two movies. I'm not going to talk about them, but like they're out there. Like just give me the thing or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
was this.
Yep.
He dyes his hair white and he bleached it and it all fell out. Like it just like he went bald because of it. So. He had a halo atop his head, like the Larry David, I would imagine.
Okay.
And he said, I really should have just used a wig. But like he dyed his hair, like that's his real hair, and then, after bleaching it, it all just fell out. I'm guessing it came back, but also...
And also, did he do it himself? Like, just get a professional to help you with it, because then it won't fall out, you
also,
dummy.
like, yeah, if you're a dude who is, like, in the running for the sexiest man alive, which is not actually, like, anything, but, like, means, like, people care about you for the way you look, right?
Yeah, your attractiveness is being judged.
Why are you doing anything that is putting those looks at risk?
I don't know.
Fuck it. I'm going to dye my own hair blonde. White.
You know what? I have more respect for it, because that's something that I would do. Be like, everybody loves you for your general handsomeness. And I'd be like, tattoos on the face, let's go.
We have tattoos on both hands.
Yeah, that works. I mean, try to.
So 3 other things. Do you want... I'm going to share all 3, but I'm going to let you pick it. Do you want the Q&A reaction, Michael Mann history, or a connection to a TV show?
Give me... let's lead up to the connection to a TV show, because I think that's going to be good. Give me the Michael Mann history first. That sounds most boring.
So Michael Mann first fell in love with Ferraris while studying film, and it is the most boring, while studying film in London in 1967. Quote, something rolls by. It's a Ferrari 275 GTB 4-cam. It was just such a gorgeous, sensual sculpture that's moving. It was this integration of performance, speed, and sheer beauty. So that happens in 1967. Like 25 years later, it's like, I gotta make a movie about the guy who made that car that I'm still like hard and horny about. And then 30 years later,
I can relate. That feels good. Yeah.
So the funny thing, and I remember this because this went viral on Twitter. You might have seen this, but
I don't remember. There
was a screening for this movie. And in the Q&A, Adam Driver's there, and there's a guy in the audience who's just like, the car crashes in this movie, they look harsh, they're drastic, and I must say, cheesy for me. And he's like, do you have anything to say about that? And Adam Driver takes like a long sip of water and pauses and goes, fuck you. I don't know. Next question.
Yes, I remember
the entire
this.
Audience
yes.
But like it's just funny, just like I don't give a shit. Like just fuck off, stop it. Like this is my like whatever, which is just funny.
Incredible, good job, Adam Driver.
So the thing leading up, and I don't know if this. I mean that was my favorite one. This is good though. So okay, in Entourage, the TV show.
Okay.
Vinny Chase, Adrian Grenier, stars in a movie Ferrari directed by Frank Darabont, who did The Shawshank Redemption, did The Mist.
Okay.
That is now apparently the 4th film from Entourage that Vinny Chase has starred in that has become a real movie since then. So
What are the other
Ferrari's a
three?
real movie.
Okay.
He was Aquaman.
Aquaman. I remember that. Okay, I was gonna say Aquaman. Good. I got it in as you said it.
He was also in The Great Gatsby, which I don't think I saw that season of Entourage.
Okay.
But he was also in Medellin, where the Pablo Escobar thing. So there became a movie, a Pablo Escobar movie, Escobar Paradise Lost, which that and Medellin in Entourage are both big financial flops. But like 4 of these movies, he probably made like 7, like he didn't make like a ton. He probably made like 7 or 8 over the course of like the 8 years of that show. 4 of them became real movies. Like that just shows like Hollywood just like, we got no ideas.
They were thinking about it. Yeah, they've been thinking about it forever. Okay. Yeah, amazing.
It's just pretty funny.
It is pretty funny, yes.
That is all of the trivia that I have for now. So what did you think of Ferrari?
I really, really enjoyed it. I saw a review. One of the top reviews that I saw was Michael Mann successfully made a slow Ferrari.
Pretty funny.
But at the same time, like, for somebody that loses a lot of focus, that doesn't necessarily like grief, I thought this movie was great. And it really feels like, I mean, are we going to talk about it or not? Does this not feel like this the prequel to Ford versus Ferrari? It's 100% the prequel to Ford versus Ferrari.
Was it Alex? Someone sent me, whoever this is, I'm sorry. I think it might have been Alex. It might not have been Alex. They sent me like a TikTok or like an Instagram reel or something of a guy saying, oh no, maybe it was, no, it wasn't Alex. Nico's friend sent me this link that was like, if you want to do like the cinematic universe of car history, like you could do Ford v Ferrari, you could do this, you could do like, I think there was maybe like a separate Shelby movie or something. Like there are all these different movies that like chronologically, there's also like Rush.
Yes.
Like that movie with Chris Hemsworth. Like all of these like European and American, like all these different angles and perspectives and history of all these different
But it all's
cars.
happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Like at the exact same time.
Yes. And it's just like, there's not a ton, there's not like dozens, but there's like 5 or 6, and we've already done Ford v Ferrari, and we're doing this now, where it's like, this tells the story of racing and like this specific kind of racing in a way that like is kind of comprehensive.
I mean, I was always going to love this. I'm a big Ferrari fan as a child. Just, you know, being around cars and Ferraris, I was like, yes, this is it. As an Italian, this was just like, these are the greatest things ever built. We've accomplished food, we've accomplished vehicles, we've accomplished art, all of those things. And I like Adam Driver, so like, I was like, yeah, sold. And I think this movie was really good. And I liked the tone of it, I liked the pace of it, I liked the racing, I liked the chaos. I think all of it was good. It hit for me.
I watched like half of this movie last night, the other half this morning, and like for some reason I thought it was like 2.5 hours. Like when I started, it was like 2:10. I was like, oh, I should have just like, I was like psyching myself out of watching it. But then as I was watching, I'm like, every single one of these scenes is so watchable. Like even like you're saying, like, you know,
you're right.
Like, it's not like there's anything happening. Like there's like conversations and like.
But it all feels poignant, and I was scared at the runtime. Like we always talk about the runtime. This was 2:12. We've seen a lot of movies that you're like, okay, they're just making 2.5 hour movies for no reason. No, everything felt like it was poignant to the story, important. It worked well. I was happy with all of it. There's nothing that I like. Do you watch this? Is there anything you're like, oh, we could cut out that part of it?
Well, not the part, but like it just feels like. I mean, again, this is I think the point of the movie is like. So David Sims, who is a film critic that I like, said, not trying to shock anyone here, but Michael Mann made a movie about masculinity being a prison. It's just like, that's what all those movies are about. Just like a guy doing guy shit, and like, it's tough to be a guy. And like, this is just like, what I did.
I don't even think this doesn't glorify it being tough. It's not tough to be a guy.
No.
He's just like, Enzo Ferrari was kind of a scumbag.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this movie makes Penelope Cruz, like, it makes you be like, oh, this woman, like, not letting him have his happiness is like,
no,
he fucked her over though. Like,
no, yeah. Like, he was whoring around for like this wasn't because of I don't perceive that at all. Like, she's the victim here. He's just a shitbag that only cares about car racing, and that's fine.
Well, so much of the movie is like him being like him trying to control her, him trying to control Shailene, being like, we gotta, let's.
I don't
not
even
talk
think
about
he's
the
really
last
trying to
name thing.
control them. He's just so used to he's just a man so used to having power.
Right.
And coming from a place without power, as he says, like when he calls the Fiat guy and was like, I asked you for a job and you just said no. Like he like has like risen to power and now has the bloodlust of power. So I don't even think he's like really there's a cultural Italianness that he's like having at the time. Like, I don't think he's really trying to control them, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just his personality.
It is. I think it's not controlling them, but having control, like having things be his way. Like he's just like, why can't?
But he wants
my
everything
wife
his way.
And my girlfriend and the press and the
my
financiers
son
and everything.
and my dead
Yes,
son and my racers and my team and my engineers and my mechanics. Why can't they all? That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's specifically directed towards women in this. He just wants everyone to do what he says.
No, yeah, it's not just women. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
because so much of this movie is just like Penelope Cruz is so mean to him. It's like, well, she has every right to be, right? Like she's just like.
I didn't fault her a bit this entire movie. I felt no, like, oh man, Penelope Cruz won't let Enzo Ferrari do what he's doing. It's like, no, she's like, you're a shitbag. I see it. You are a shitbag. You were even more of a shitbag than I was letting you be. That we agreed to you not going to these levels of shitbaggery, and you're doing it. Stop.
What I loved about there's two things I thought were very well. So the thing, one of the first scenes that I really loved is when they're in church and every single dude in church has a stopwatch at the time there because they're hearing the gunshots, right?
Yes.
And while they're doing that, like none of the women, like it seems like in another movie, like the women would be like, oh, can't you put your work away or whatever? Like they're just like, this is.
Well,
we're just glad that they're here.
No, that's the thing. So the other aspect of this that you have to like think about, remember, is even today when we were there the last time we were in Italy, but before COVID, Modena is a town, Joey. This is like if the Ferrari factory was in your town in New Jersey. Like it's one of these like company town type situations. Like. You work for Ferrari, like, they make two things in Modena. It's balsamic vinegar and Ferraris. That's what you get in Modena. Like, that's it.
Well, what I love about that, like, to prove that point is that, like...
The priest even talks about
it. It's just
like,
you know what? If Jesus were here today, he wouldn't be a carpenter. He'd be making cars with you. And it's just like...
Exactly.
That's so... It's such a, like...
Small town
number one,
feel.
Maybe, yes. Maybe you're right. You're probably right. But also just, like, you guys make such good cars... Even the Lord loves them.
Yes. Yeah, and this is a belief that you only this. So this is like my Pittsburghism coming out that like, like when you're from like a small town, you have to like latch onto something, right? Come on, like nobody's like, oh yeah, Pittsburgh, this great destination of art and culture and things. Where you're like, no, but like the fucking sports teams are good, so here, that's what you get. We win a lot of those, so like you're like, okay, we build the best cars in the world. That's what we got. So you fucking deal. Everybody's doing it here, and like. Yeah, I like this feel of like that you're right, that like the church, the priests, like everybody's in on it. They're just running this gambit to where like even for what Enzo's he's at the whatever, like the barber shop or whatever. I don't remember what it was. But like the other guy like owns the soccer team. He's like, I'm gonna have to move the factory because your fucking soccer team sucks and like I can't have it bringing down my morale. Like I love this. I love this small town feel of, and he like picks like just like a random ass Italian countryside to just build the fastest fucking cars in the world. It's incredible.
What I also love, and I think this is probably something that's like very true about like all, especially back then, is like how frustrating must it be? And like we get a sense that he never really fully vocalizes this, but it's kind of also what a lot of this movie is about. How frustrating must it be to build a car that is like perfect and you can't find someone to drive it?
Well, I don't. So that's always the argument,
right?
That Ferrari builds cars that they think are perfect that nobody can drive. So are they perfect?
Whether they are or not, he thinks they are, and he's like, "There's got to be someone who can drive it, right?"
Yeah, but
De Portago, he drives like Varzi. It's like, okay, I don't know what that means, but sure, okay.
Well, yeah. It's fun.
They keep saying he drives like Varzi. I'm like, I don't.
Well, because he
okay.
needs a tagline for all of them. That's why they do the taglines before he does the taglines, which is really funny. I thought that was like the thing. That joke. So they come in, and when he first signs the Spanish guy Deportado, he like comes in and he's like, and like one of the other drivers is like, this is this guy, and he gives them all the taglines.
Well, no, because
when Enzo introduces them, he uses the exact same thing. So they're like, Enzo has given you a tagline, and these are the taglines of these guys.
Well, those are scenes that almost like took me out of the movie because I'm like, there's so much like acting is so weird that he's got to like in this goofy accent that's not his actual accent.
That was the weird thing too. Yeah,
5 different people to the press who are actors that you know as actors, but also playing characters, but also characters who are real people.
Yes.
And also a tagline for each. I'm like, this is so much like useless information you've got to memorize and be able to say in this goofy accent. And I'm like, good job. But like, this is like acting is weird. Like it was that specific delivery. I'm just like,
you had an existential moment.
Because like you see like a monologue, and you're like, there's so much passion there or whatever. This is just like, I'm introducing 5 guys and they all got a tagline. It's just like, okay, like it's not just like, here's the new driver. It's like, here's 5 guys is so many guys.
But it's the same taglines that they use too. They're like.
But both actors.
I actually liked it because that's funny. Like it's like, you know, like you meet somebody, you're like, oh yeah, this guy says bro all the time. Like as you like walk up to him and you're like, what are you talking? And then like all of a sudden he's like, bro, and you're like, oh yeah, this is exactly what he was like. They did that to Enzo Ferrari, which was funny to me.
So in terms of the accents, we've got Adam
the
Driver
accents thing was wild because
doing something
because they're doing Italian accents but speaking English instead of just getting Italian actors or speaking in Italian. They made them speak English with an Italian accent, which was a wild choice. Well,
it's the House of Gucci thing, right? It's like just we're going to do the thing.
It was interesting.
You've got Penelope Cruz, who has a thick Spanish accent, speaking Italian, which is like, you know, passable because it's like similar language. And then you've got Shailene kind of doing an Italian thing, but also just kind of talking like Shailene Woodley half the movie.
Was she supposed to be Italian or French? I couldn't tell.
I mean, her name is Lina Lardi. Like her name is
okay. Yeah,
Italian
that's right. But he like mentions the French to her, and she's Shailene, so I thought like maybe she was French.
No, she's Italian. It's just like I remember like in the we'll watch a trailer later. This trailer played before every movie, didn't matter because nobody saw it. But I remember being like, because I wasn't fully watched because I don't really watch trailers, but like it was on so much. I'm just like I'm gonna take part of this in. I'm like, is one of them? Like, I thought maybe Penelope Cruz was his sister, and, like, Shailene was, like, his wife. But I'm like, is she Italian? Like, I don't understand. Like, based on accents alone, like, I don't understand.
Accents and looks.
And ages. To anybody
and
here.
Ages, yeah. Because they're aging Adam Driver up. They age Shailene up. Penelope's pretty much the same age.
Right.
But she looks great at the age that she's supposed to be. So she looks younger.
I don't know that they really age Shailene up.
They do.
Because she is 33 in real life, 32 in real life.
She looked about 40. They gave her some I mean,
it's also
frump.
Just 1950s living. She's also married to a difficult man. Or not married to. She's the mistress.
She's not married.
Girlfriend.
She's not married. He said
she's the girlfriend / mistress.
Not my wife.
It's also funny that, like, my favorite line of hers is just like, I should have been the kind of mistress to be like, buy me jewelry, buy me furs. Like, I'm doing this all wrong. Like, I fell in love with you. Like, I'm just trying to have a life with you. Like, I should have been like, buy me things and you would have bought me things. Like, she's just like, I fucked up.
She should have. I kind of like dedication. This is going to sound so bad. Maybe I shouldn't say it. I kind of like the dedication that they understand that this man is solely focused on making the world's fastest cars and caring only about automotive racing.
Well, I think that's the same thing. Like, you love somebody who's passionate about a thing, and you're like, I love their passion, but also, like, that means that I'm never going to come first.
But to the point where they, like, are kind of okay with both being there. Like, neither of them are really mad about not being the only one.
Well, Shailene knows... Well, no, because Penelope Cruz doesn't know that Shailene's Shailene until, like, the end of the movie.
She's only mad that he loved another woman. Not that she was a mistress, because she was totally fine with that.
Right.
And he's like, look, you're my business mistress wife, and she's my mistress wife, okay? So, like, there's room for everyone here, because I only care about the fucking car racing, and I've been trying to tell both of you this the whole time.
Because Shailene, as the... okay, we are dancing around some murky waters here. As the mistress, as the girlfriend, you know that, like,
there's a wife.
Else. Right.
There's a wife, and there's also cars, in this case.
Right. So you know that, like, maybe at best you're third, but you have a son, like, you
and he might be first. He might be first. The son might be first. That's okay, because car racing and son can tie for first.
Mm-hmm. Although I don't think he really gives a shit about the son. Like, he kind of does, but the son seems like an afterthought, kind of. Like, it's definitely cars number one, and then everything else is like a distant second or something.
No, as an Italian, the son and heir are like...
Well,
there's
a complication
close
here
second.
that his actual heir died, and Penelope Cruz does not forgive him for that, even though it's not his fault. She blames him for that.
Yes.
And so he has this other heir, but he's just like, I could just love all my sons. But cars are still number one. Then probably sons, plural, living and dead. Then mistress and wife.
No. Wife first, mistress second. He has an emotional
Even
love.
Here?
I'm telling you, he has an emotional love for the mistress, but his wife runs the shit, dude. That's his accountant. He has a love for her like you can't describe.
Yeah.
That's why you need both. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. But Cars clearly number one.
Cars one. Sons is a close second. Yeah.
Right.
Heirs, daughters, that can be interchangeable. We don't know where they're at in their,
But he has no daughters.
But he has no daughters, so it doesn't fucking matter.
I think the racing in this movie is probably better like sights and sounds in any movie since like Rush.
I think Ford versus Ferrari was very good.
I don't really
but this
remember,
is very
Rush.
good.
Rush, I remember the sounds being... Have you seen Rush?
Yes.
I remember that being really, really good. I don't really remember the racing in Ford v Ferrari other than just Christian Bale being a maniac.
No, it's the sound is very, very good. I think it won sound editing or sound something that year too, because it was
what this does, that's very Fast and Furious, is a lot of gear shifting.
There is a lot of gear shifting. There is a lot of gear shifting and pedals, clutching, double clutching.
Also, the lesson that he gives to his son Piero is about the manifold, and I'm like, ooh, do not let it get dangered.
He that's pretty much what he says to him. He's like, make it wet, make it slippery, don't let it get dangered. Mm-hmm. And I think those are good rules to live by. I think that, like, that should be somebody like live, laugh, love, wet, slippery, no danger to manifold.
Because, like, the gear shifting is also so prominent that, like, the first guy who dies because the gear gets that's stuck between, like, two... Like, the stick gets stuck between two gears and, like, he, crashes because of that and goes flying. So
yeah, Patrick Dempsey at the end says, like, I don't have second gear. I have first, third, and fourth.
First, third, and fourth, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. And there's some great quotes in here that I can only imagine Enzo says, like when you're talking about that. He finishes that segment where he's looking at a map. He's looking at a diagram of the engine, and he's making slight adjustments.
He's like very slightly curving it more so that it's a more gentle intake.
Yeah, and he's like saying this to his son. But then he says something so fucking Ferrari and beautiful that he's like, son, everywhere in the world, if a thing works better, it's more beautiful to the eye. Mm-hmm. Ferrari's always the most beautiful car. Like, it just always is. And you're like, why? But, like, the styling is part of the deal. Like, that's why they do...
Well, what I think is cool about these movies is that in Ford v Ferrari, I know that you might not agree because you're a crazy Italian. I mean, I'm Italian too, but like in Ford v Ferrari, you're like, man, fuck those Ferrari guys, Ford forever. And then here, it's just like, man, fuck those Maserati guys. And then there's the Maserati movie, like, man, fuck those Fiat guys. I mean, just like every movie's just like, no, this is the car. These are the best cars.
Watching Ford versus Ferrari I knew Enzo would win, and so I was okay with this part of it because I like Carroll Shelby and that side quest that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, Ferrari ultimately always wins. That's the whole point of the deal. It's like,
right.
That's just it.
Well, what I think is also fun, so like in the Mille Miglia, there's the race around the corner, and they like edge the Maserati off the road, and it crashes. And very sportsmanlike, picks him up and just like, hey, let me give you a ride back to town, basically, right?
Yeah, because this is what Rachel, like, I'm watching this today with Rachel, and I'm like, this is fucking incredible. Imagine you just crash your car in like the countryside. There's no ambulance. There's no.
You're dozens, if not more, miles from town.
Yeah.
No
you
cell
could
phone.
just be like in a farm. There's no
Yep.
GPS. There's no anything. So like you just have to like walk your ass back for 3 hours. Like, yeah. When he stopped to pick him up, this is exactly when I said it. I was just like, this is incredible.
So he gets back, and the Maserati guy is so pissed. He's so mad. And he's like, you're a passenger in a Ferrari. You should have walked. And I remember, like, it's like the same kind of thing where it's just like, you know, it works both ways, where it's like, I'd rather push a Ford than drive a Chevy. I'd rather push a Chevy than drive a Ford. It's just like,
yes.
I can't believe you would stoop so low as to even be seen.
No, I don't think. I think it's that. I think that's the operative word in your sentence is that he knows that there will be pictures.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. That's like the whole Enzo Ferrari thing earlier on when he's like, I'm sick of you guys all taking booty shots and not getting shots in my cars. I only care about these fucking cars. I don't care about the women that are standing in front of them. Stop. Take pictures of the cars.
Yeah. Well, so far as to when in that, it was in the trailer too. We'll see it later in this episode. But when they're taking the picture, it's him and Dee Portago and Sarah Gadon, who
Excellent
plays
move.
Linda Christian. And he's just like, I'm so tired of all these actresses showing up because the photographers look for them instead of the car. And he like grabs her and slides her butt off the logo.
Him pulling her in so you could see the logo. Top tier.
Yep.
Excellent shot in a movie.
I've seen so many movies where she is the lead and she is really good. And here she's just like, I'm a pretty blonde actress who's here to like kind of ruin things and cry about my dead husband or dead boyfriend.
What is she else in that I don't? What am I thinking of?
Have
I seen any of these?
You might have seen. Did you watch the 11/22/63 miniseries, the Stephen King adaptation on Hulu with James Franco? Where he goes back in time.
Not. No, I have not.
She plays the female lead in that. She's in this movie called Indignation, which is great. There was a movie that came out a couple years ago. I think that Brian might have covered on Slumber Party, or it could have at least, called Vampires vs. the Bronx, where she's like sort of the face of villainy. She's also in like Cronenberg movies like Antiviral and Cosmopolis. But she's just like, and Maps of the Stars, like she's just been around. I'm like it's not like she's like an actress. I'm like, oh, I got to see movies because of her. But like I'm looking, I've seen 12 things she's just like,
that's insane.
She's in a bunch of stuff. But like, I'm like, why do I know? Oh, I know her because she's in a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like this is all about men, but like there's two women with like very prominent. I mean, they're sort of
three
subservient to Adam Driver, but like there's Penelope Cruz and Shailene Woodley here who like both, you know, have a fair amount to do.
Yes. I have a joke for you that I don't think that you would have found as funny as I did, but I laughed out loud when I heard it.
Okay. Because I don't think I laughed in this movie. Maybe I did. I don't know.
They're starting the race, okay? And every car pulls
the Mille
up.
Miglia.
Yeah, the Mille Miglia. And every car pulls up, and before the car like gets like ready to get their checkered flag, because it's a staggered release, Enzo is going up to every car and giving them his head coach speech for them.
Oh yeah, okay. I think I know where you're going to. Yep.
Okay, so he tells them like, just stay behind, make it to Bologna, pass him at the end. And then the other guy, he's like, stay in front, you're probably gonna lead. And the other guy, he tells him something else. But they cut to the Maserati guys. Okay, this is where it gets hysterical.
Oh, this is a different thing. Okay, yeah.
They cut to the Maserati guys, and he goes, look, just stay behind the lead Ferraris, because one of them's going to break, and then just pass them then.
Yep.
That is like the entire history of Ferrari forever.
That, just like self-sabotage?
Enzo and the mentality of the Ferrari in general is that like they're building the fastest car that they can build.
Mm-hmm.
The prettiest, fastest car that they can build. It's not always going to work.
Right.
So, like, one of, like, the most common complaints that, like, you know, like, when I ran into one of the guys that worked at the dealership across the street when I was in high school, and we're driving home, and I ran into him because I saw him getting gas at, like, a close gas station. It was, like, halfway between my parents' place and the thing, and I knew him, and I saw Ferrari, so I was like, oh, hey, Steve, and he's like, come on, I'll ride you the rest of the way back. We get in the car, it's like, you know, like late spring, like near the end of the school year. I'm like, this car's hot as fuck, and he goes, yeah, man, the air conditioner doesn't work. I was like, what the fuck do you mean the air conditioner doesn't work? He was like, you don't buy a Ferrari for the air conditioning. I was like, that's true. He's like, dude, the more expensive the car is, the less people bitch about it. You'll have no idea. Because, like, you're not buying it because, like, shit works. You're buying it because it looks beautiful and it's the fastest car ever made, right? So he's like, yeah, so, like, this is insane to think about. And I like this aspect of it, too.
Because I thought you were going to talk about, like, there's a thing, it's kind of like a motivational speech or whatever, where he just, like, make sure the guys who are gassing up get the gas in the tank and not on the drivers. It's just, like, that seems obvious, but, like, I guess, like, that's also just, like, his micromanaging kind of.
Yes, yeah. He's just, like, focus, every second counts type situation. No, I was laughing that Maserati was like, wait till the Ferrari explodes, and then we'll pass them. Because that's, like, for, like, 2-3 of the past 5 F1 season, that's pretty much been what's happening. Like, Ferrari will be in front, then the car just explodes at the end.
So does this. You've been excited to watch this movie for like 3 weeks since whatever happened and whatever happened.
Yes.
Did whatever F1 news happen, which I already forget and will not remember, change the way you saw this movie?
It is fucking awesome. Yes. Because just like you said, you were saying that you build the fastest car. So in F1 news...
So when you watch F1, do you root for Ferrari?
Always. Only Ferrari. Like, not even like... Like, I like other drivers... But you could change my drivers today.
Compare them to football. Like, who are they? Who is like the Kansas? Is there Kansas City Chiefs of F1?
Yeah,
like
they're Red
Chiefs.
Bull. They're
Red Bull.
Yeah.
So who is Ferrari in terms of football?
Like the Dallas Cowboys, essentially.
So they were great once, but they haven't been great for a while. But people, so like they're the Yankees too, right?
Yes. Yeah. You're like they have like a long history of being awesome. But they also, like, self-sabotage themselves pretty bad. But also factored in, like, imagine if, like, the Yankees were run by, like, actual Italians. So there's a lot of, like
George Costanza?
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a lot of, like, Ferrari will do something and be like, oh, like, we forgot to change the tires. Like, they'll come into, like, a pit stop and just, like, not do one part of it. Like, that's just, like, that's very common... That will be like, okay, like I said, like, there was, like, oh, man, what was it? It was, like, fucking, like, Monaco, like, last year or whatever. Like, Ferrari, they're drivers from Monaco, they're in the lead, and the car just blows up on the last lap.
Sweet.
Like, it's like that kind of shit, so.
Okay.
So Lewis Hamilton, the greatest driver in the world.
As a side note, just talking about the Yankees reminded me, because you're just like, one's great. So I signed up for this thing called Yankees Universe, which is $60. You get 2 tickets to a game, which I thought there'd be like a lot of blackouts. There's not very many blackouts.
Awesome, cool.
You also get a t-shirt. You also get like other benefits, like you get 10% off one purchase on the online store, blah, 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 like all this different stuff, whatever. But they write the letter. I got the package yesterday. Welcome to the 2024 season of Yankees Universe. You are now a part of the world's most successful sports franchise. And I'm like, not lately.
Exactly.
But they're still just like, we're the best. It's like, no.
But the cool part about Ferrari is, as you see, like, Enzo had split it. And, like, Enzo only cared about the F1 team. That's literally it. He cared about the F1 team and the endurance championship team. Like, he was just building cars for that. They're also a very successful car brand, but he didn't give a fuck about the cars.
Well, he's just saying, like, they're like, if you race, people buy the cars. And no, we build the cars to race. Like, that's like,
that was his whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in F1.
So wait, where was Lewis Hamilton? Who was he racing for before?
He raced for Mercedes.
So who are they in football terms?
Oh,
how many F1 teams are there? 20?
10.
Fewer.
10, 20 seats, 10 teams, 2 cars each.
Okay. So who is Mercedes equivalent to? Are all 10 of them good? Like, could all 10 win, or are there some that like will never have a chance?
No, there's dog shit teams.
Okay.
So what it is, so usually what happens, like, let me explain it to you. You have, like, Ferrari, right? And they're, like, a big team and a manufacturer. And then some of the smaller teams that were remnants of, like, the past, what happens is, like, the team that Brian likes, Haas, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're owned by, like, a guy. They have a race team. There's 2 drivers, seats on the grid, everything. But all they do is buy Ferrari engines and then build the car around the engine.
Okay.
There's only, like, certain teams. So like, essentially Haas is, like, the AAA team for Ferrari. And, like, Mercedes has Williams, which is a privately owned team, blah, 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 but they get all their engines from Mercedes. And usually if you have, like, a young driver that you like, you can kind of store him there and then bring him up when you want.
Okay.
But
So
you don't
okay.
don't, like, expect them. Like, there's, like, in F1, they call it a lot of, like, the best of the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, like, teams like now Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and then you have the best of the rest.
Sure.
So, like, a lot of teams shoot for 5th because you get paid out based on where you finish, blah, blah, blah. But, like, that's your goal, is you know that you'll never touch the top 4. It's like English soccer,
That
any of
seems
these
so
things.
fucked. I get it, but also
Baseball's
just, like,
this what you like baseball. Baseball's the same shit, bro.
not really, because any team could. It's not like...
There's a cap now in F1 too, so it's much different. But at the time, it was like you
who's
could spend.
Who's the football equivalent of Mercedes?
I don't know, but anyways,
Are they good? Like they can.
They'd be the Patriots. They'd be the Patriots.
So they were a former dynasty. So that's like Brady going.
No.
from the Patriots.
But I mean, like, yeah, exactly. Like, if Red Bull's the Chiefs, the Patriots are Mercedes, which is like they had Lewis Hamilton, who was like Tom Brady. He won like 9 championships.
So it's like Brady prime going to the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's exact. No, Brady going to the Cowboys, but like at the end, he's older now. Like Lewis Hamilton's not prime.
Okay, so it'd be like the Bucks, but it's like okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's the history of the Cowboys, but like what happened with the Bucks.
This is actually literally exactly what Darius Butler said on Pat McAfee or K Up and Adam with K Adams or whatever. He said like Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari is just like Brady going to the Cowboys. That's what it feels like. Like if he didn't go to the Bucks, if he would have went to the Cowboys, you'd have been like, oh my god, this is like one of the biggest franchises.
Yep. Okay.
One of the best players ever, and like now they're gonna combine.
So did that change the way that you watch this movie, or not really?
I was actually watching this movie thinking like, do you think Lewis Hamilton saw this movie over Christmas and was like, you know what, I gotta fucking do it? And like maybe this, like the movie was the crux to get Lewis Hamilton to leave Mercedes. You know? Like that'd be crazy to think about.
Maybe.
He could have just been sitting in a theater with Shakira. That's his girlfriend, by the way.
Oh, after she got cheated on, and
his current girlfriend is Shakira.
Okay.
Yeah, she comes to all of his races. At least that's what the rumors are. I don't know if they're like actually official, but she's at every race watching Lewis Hamilton in Mercedes gear or whatever. So yeah, imagine that they're just like Shakira and Lewis Hamilton sitting there, and he's like, you know what? That guy sucks enough that I believe in him. I want to go drive for him. And he does. And that's it. And you can. And they'll bring out all the old... That's the other thing about Ferrari. Like, they'll bring out all the other old cars and, like, let him drive them around the track once. Like, you know, like in a parade when they do, like, the Monza race, whatever. Like, oh, that's the other thing. So when you're watching this movie, like, Monza, the racetrack, is an F1 track. Like, he built this track to test his cars.
okay.
And it just is the track. It's like...
I assume that like all of these things we see, because like I play enough like Forza games or whatever, just
Gran
like,
Turismo,
they just
yes.
look like tracks. I'm just like, I assume that they are tracks, or like there's recreations of them, or they are recreations of something else. You know what I mean? Like it all just makes sense to me.
Yes, but it's like cool to see that like this was their playground. Like that's where they go. It's their home track. It's cool. It's very cool.
So we need to talk about the end of the Mille Miglia. So Taruffi
Okay,
wins.
yeah, we haven't even gotten to like the heavy part yet.
So Patrick Dempsey, Taruffi wins, but he wins because De Portaga with his co-pilot Nelson, they're trying to get to the next town. And he's like, are my tires good enough to get to the next town? They're like, yeah. So they go.
Well, no, Ferrari suggests that he changes tires at the end, and he's like, I don't have enough time. I'm trying to win.
Basically, after a full movie's worth of getting yelled at by Ferrari for not being fast enough, is like, no, I got to go.
Yes. Yeah.
So he goes. And the tire blows out, but it's because he hits, like, it's not like a mile marker, but it's like a thing like in the middle of the road, like kind of like a lane divider.
Kind of like a lane divider, yes.
That seems like wildly dangerous to have in the middle of the road.
You've never been to Italy before.
But also, you're not supposed to be driving 200 kilometers an hour probably on this road.
Probably not. Was not designed for that. But in Italy, they make a lot of interesting choices, and this was one that I believed.
So he hits this lane divider,
slashes his tire, car spins,
vertically, horizontally, doing barrel rolls in the air,
and then
wipes out an entire group of spectators.
Like a village of people.
So we see bisected men. De Portago dies. So in real life, when this happened, the co-pilot Nelson did get cut in half in this accident.
Okay.
So
this was gruesome. I was not ready for this much gore.
I know. De Portago's corpse in real life was trapped under the vehicle, which was half submerged into a drainage trench. So this went horrifically wrong. The final kiss, which I think is also in the movie, between De Portago and Linda Christian, the actress I was talking about before, was captured by a photographer who's still anonymous, dubbed Il Bacio della Morte, the kiss of death. And she's got this weird look on her face because she says, I had a strange feeling with the kiss. It was cold and it caused me to look for the first time at Nelson behind him. He seemed like a mummy, gray, ashen, mesmerized. He had the eyes of someone who had suffered an enormous shock. So this is her telling the story of like the last time she kisses her boyfriend before he dies in his accident.
He feels like a corpse.
Well, no, not him, Nelson. She's like kissing the guy and she's like, this feels weird. She like looks at Nelson. Nelson looks like in a state of shock.
Well, they kind of showed it in the movie when he's like, which way am I going? Which way am I going? And he's not really saying anything.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she described it as that. Who knows if that's actually real or not, but like, I kind of believe it. It's also like, oh, that's insane. And then, like in the end, everything kind of works out.
But imagine doing 130 with this maniac as your driver, and you're the passenger driving through fucking rural towns, and he's just
also it's
ripping.
1957, and there's no safety anything.
Yeah, and you can't call anyone. You can't see anyone. You have a map. That's it.
Yep.
I would look like a ghost too.
But like in the end, Ferrari wins the race. He gets control of the factory. They work out an arrangement for the last name of the kid. He's taken the son to the dead son, the living son to the dead son's grave. Sort of a happy ending, other than De Portago and Nelson, died grisly deaths.
And that whole village of children and women that just got cut in half.
Like early in the movie when there's the accident and like it goes flying and the guy dies, you're like, oh, like, not that people should. Like,
racing
whatever,
is dangerous.
But you know what you sign up for, right? Here, just like, oh, I just imagine like going to like that's like going to watch the Masters getting hit in the head with like a shanked golf ball and dying from that. It's just like, this shouldn't have happened.
If the Masters was in your backyard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you were like, oh, Tiger Woods is hitting a shot from over there, like, let's go watch Tiger Woods hit a shot, and then you die from the Tiger Woods shot because he shanks it.
Insane.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about the movie?
There was lots of fast actions in here. I was just constantly visualizing Enzo Ferrari as Dom Toretto, and just like early on, she's like, when the first guy dies.
Is he more Dom or is he more Jesse?
He's Dom.
Okay.
He has like the power and the ladies, but like early on, like you saying, like when the guy flies into the wall and he's like sad that like he's like the widow maker and all the things that the reporters say about him, that felt very No More Funerals to me. When he tells him like there's two guys there and he was the one who had a desire to, like, he thought that we could both die in this moment. That was very winning is winning. Like he was like, yeah, like, he's like, you break, he breaks, whoever breaks first type of chicken.
Break later.
Then I had one last thought and a question for you. If Dom is Enzo Ferrari, who is Penelope Cruz and who is Shailene Woodley?
Oh, ooh. Well,
it's very obvious to me. And then I have a second question on top of that.
Well, I mean, Penelope Cruz is Letty.
Obviously, she shoots at him. Very Letty.
Well, she also is just like,
no bullshit.
I understand the skanks, but when
no
I'm
bullshit.
here, it's me.
You come home at night. You leave in the morning. Fine.
Shailene is Elena, and Piero is Baby B.
Okay, so thinking of that, why in the Fast and the Furious didn't they have a situation where Letty told Dom that Baby B could not be a Toretto?
Because that would make her seem...
He just couldn't have the name. Not that he couldn't be a Toretto. Like, not that he can't be around. But, like, imagine...
In this movie, it's like, this is a 1950s Italian woman who has honor. This is, like, in the Fast and Furious, it's a fictional woman who would be, like, forever hated by everyone. It's like, you can't be a
Why?
like that. Because that's not the way people do things anymore.
Elena didn't even give the baby a first name. Who cares about its last name?
For Dom.
Out of respect for Dom, not for Letty. What if Letty was like, hey, I'll raise Baby B, but
I think
he cannot be a Toretto.
There could be a reckoning coming where, like, Letty became a mother. Like, Dom over and over is just like, there a baby in there? There a baby in there? She's like, no, not yet. And then all of a sudden she's a mom to, like, a child who's not hers because the woman your husband fell in love with while you were quote unquote dead had a kid, was murdered by now a friend ? And now you are the mother to your husband's son.
Mistresses.
Also, she knows
child.
She also knows how much family means to, like, I know the family also means something to Ferrari, but, like,
family means everything to both of them. That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, for Dom,
it's a very similar
family
situation.
Is number one, Cars is number two.
Is it?
Dom loves family more than Cars.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I was just trying to see if I could break you there, but
no.
No,
yeah,
Dom loves.
No, Letty
Dom
would be
is
like,
family first, Cars close second,
mm-hmm.
then everything else. Probably Letty's like third in that list.
No, Letty's family though.
I know, but I'm saying like family, Cars, then Letty specifically, like taking her out of family is third.
Yeah, no, they would never have like Letty would be like a villain if she's like, he can't be Toretto.
She'd be like, Neves. Yeah, he could just be
He's Brian Neves.
Yeah, imagine if she did that.
And also, by the way, Daniela Melchior has to take care of him. He's no longer your responsibility. Now that we know she's got a sister, pass that kid off.
Ship that fucker out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy. Did you track non-Cars? Because we're still in that lap.
I didn't because there was no non-Cars. I didn't see any. I remembered halfway through and was like, okay, no.
We got old-timey Cars, which are still Cars. We got a train in the station in post-war Italy. He remembers a different train.
Yes. Good job.
When he's watching the opera and he's crying, he's remembering the train again. So that's another train. There's two different trains. And there's also an ambulance, which is not... It's still kind of a car, but we've been tracking ambulance.
But it was and it was also like an army truck ambulance. It wasn't like a modern
there's
ambulance.
Also some like military style vehicles that are just around, like very briefly.
Yeah.
But it's Cars.
It's Cars. Though, I mean, rightfully so. The whole fucking movie is Cars. Like, that's what it should have been.
All right, let's watch the trailer for Ferrari. Again, this is a trailer that I'm sure everybody's watching this. If you saw any movie in theaters last fall, you would have seen this trailer. Ferrari official trailer in theaters Christmas, posted by Neon 3 months ago, has 12 million views.
Do you look at the Ferrari logo and have just like a giant aesthetic boner?
Nope.
Okay. Never mind then. Sorry, I didn't know if it was just me, and it is. Like the red, yellow,
it's not just you,
green.
But it's not me.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, just like one black horse standing. It's like so fucking crispy. Okay.
I like the Maz logo, but I'm not also like I just think it looks cool.
The Maserati logo, the Trident. Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. Do you like the Alpha one with like the snake and the? They were driving Alphas.
Best automotive logos. 10 of the best car logos on the road today. Number 1, BMW. Which
no, I like BMW.
That's like the pilot, the propeller in the sky. You know that the white and blue is like the propeller, like a plane propeller in front of the blue sky.
Yeah.
Number 2, Mercedes-Benz. Number 3, Ferrari. I don't know if this is in order. Number 4, Citroën.
Citroën's lame.
Number 5, Cadillac. This site sucks. Number 6, Jaguar. Number 7, Volvo. 8, Alfa. 9, Chevy. 10, Aston Martin. None of those are
cool at all.
I'm looking at famous luxury. So there's BMW, the Rolls Royce, the RR, whatever, Ferrari, Lambo with the bull, Bugatti, Tesla. I think the Tesla.
Well,
logo is
Lambo
dumb
the
looking.
bull is just a direct poaching of Ferrari.
What is this one? What is?
Show me. I'll play. Show me and let me play.
No. You'll just know it. Can you describe the Maybach logo?
Yeah, it's like an M that's like this kind of. Do you see what I'm doing?
Well, it's two M's.
It's like
an M over an M.
but it's like kind of in like a pointing at the top, and it comes down to be at what?
Oh, the one I wasn't sure about was Koenig's. No.
Koenigsegg's the shield that has the checker pattern on it.
No, but there's another one that's similar that I didn't know. The one I saw was the SSC North America, which is also
I don't know
Shield.
what that is.
That was created by Jared Shelby. That's
weird.
also Shield. It's a blue and white checker shield with like a red stripe across and like antlers at the bottom. There's no one logo where I'm just like, that's the one for me. I actually kind of like it doesn't do the thing for me that Ferrari does for you, but I think the Audi, the rings are cool.
They are cool. They're
it's
cool.
simple, but it's cool. I like that.
Yeah. No, but like the Ferrari logo, you just see it and you're just like a horse, SFs, like yellow, red, green. It's like, this is a fucking Italian. This is a horse. It's fast as shit. It's a shield. Deal with it.
Yeah, I don't see any. I don't think I've ever seen the Maybach. The Maybach logo, I think it looks cool. I never think I've ever seen that, but whatever.
Go watch the Otis music video after this.
I know Maybach's in the lyrics there, but is it in the video too?
Yeah, that he chops the roof off of Maybach, and that's what the
Maybach bumper sticker read. What would Hova do? All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Ready to watch the trailer?
Ready. I'm up.
3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah, the logo on the side. The racing and the shots of the countryside in this are fucking beautiful too, by the way.
It looks it's so cool, like because there's the Italian like city stuff, which is like all old, and this just like feels so different, but it's also just like old.
Yeah, because we go through Rome. Yeah.
You have perhaps a crisis of identity.
This is the speech we were talking about.
My sportsman or a competitor.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so he's with Shailene there, right?
Shailene's kind of a babe in this too. I was never like a huge fan of hers, but she's kind of a babe in this. I mean, I know she eats clay and dated Aaron Rodgers, which permanently scars her for me, but...
You're going broke. How? You spend more than you make.
I like
that was the most
is,
Italian answer ever. You're going broke. How?
Yeah,
you spend more money than you make.
Like, this is like the undercurrent, and like they spend like 3 minutes on money. Like, I know that's that's a big chunk of the Penelope Cruz thing, like, you know, sign up for your shares or whatever, like...
Yes.
But like, it's just like, no, this is about the cars. Like, it's all about money, but it's really about the cars.
Yeah.
The cards are in my hand.
I can't believe the banker threw him under the bus like that. I need a new fucking bank after that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tell my wife about my mistress, I'm out. All my money's gone.
A terrible joy.
Like, in this trailer, like, if you didn't know better, like, it looks like he's with Shailene and like Penelope Cruz is like a sister or something. Like, she
You're
also,
right.
like,
Yeah.
Like,
Understood.
they both are Ferrari.
Yeah, she could easily be his equal in sisterdom.
You were supposed to save him. You promised me he wouldn't die.
I mean, it's more of a Spanish thing than an Italian thing for her, but, you know.
Kind of. It kind
It's
of
in the
sounds
ballpark.
like it.
I also did like that she pulls the gun on him very early in the movie, and she actually does shoot, but doesn't shoot him, but, like, she's not just, like, bluster. She's like, I'm actually going to shoot, but just, you know, just know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ferrari.
It gets you
Second
so
comment.
amped for F1 season.
The physics on the CG crasher shots look kind of janky. Unless they get fixed, they will be a distraction. No, man, it doesn't matter.
Oh, so cool. One last cool fact for you that I don't think that you know, that there was a Ferrari Dino at one point.
Is that a car or is that a person?
Well, Dino was the son that died.
Okay.
So there was a Ferrari
named a car after
Dino.
him. Okay.
And then, like, before the FXX, there was the Enzo Ferrari, and that was like the end all be all of Ferrari.
I know that from video games.
So,
yeah.
Yes. So you had like one of each, like they named them after.
Very
themselves. Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right. Good luck with this. Letterbox game. For reference sake, Mad Max Fury Road 1.8 million.
Okay.
Ferrari. 2023, directed by Michael Mann, starring Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, and Shailene Woodley, has been seen by how many people?
138,000.
You are surprisingly close, but you are too high. In the ballpark.
My first original guess was 117,000.
You are still pretty close, but now you're too low. One more guess.
123,000.
121,977. Just 122,000 people have seen this, which is, pretty on the money there.
Yeah, I was pretty close with the first guess. That feels good. Just blank number. I was thinking recently streaming, good cast, Michael Mann. Not a ton, though, because there's not a lot of rumors. That's why I started in the 100,000s.
The top review on Letterboxd is a 2.5-star review. Just says, Adam Driver, this is your second strike. One more, you'll be banned from entering Italy. House of Gucci.
Why? Because you did House of Gucci in this. Yeah.
And the number 2 review, well, the number 2 review of not people that I don't thought, like David Ehrlich has more, David Sims has more, but whatever. But one just says, Adam driving.
Well played, sir.
Average
Touché.
rating of a 3.3, most common a 3, then a 3.5, then a 4. How many of those 122,000 people have this in their top 4 favorite films of all time?
27.
Way too low.
Really? 135.
You are very close, but still too low.
148.
142 people.
That feels like more than I thought. Like, even if people love Adam Driver, but it's like a Ferrari movie, which I don't think those overlap as much. And yeah, okay.
We are going to go to Sam Munoz at S. Munoz Movies.
Okay.
Who watched it on Christmas and gave it 85 out of 100, 4.5 stars. Said, our deadly passion, our terrible joy, loyal to the lust to win, dreams of steel and smoke, man and machine. Probably underrating this, even though he gave it 4.5 stars. He then watched it 5 days later, said 91 out of 100. Interesting quotes, break later. So Sam Munoz has Ferrari as his number 1 favorite film of all time.
Ford versus Ferrari.
None of the other ones
are car movies.
Well, one of them we covered. So okay, I looked
Back to
at
the Future.
No.
Okay.
I looked at because there's 142, and I looked at every person who reviewed it more than once. And a lot of them, surprisingly, even though this is a new movie, and I would think that like they love mostly new movies, almost nobody had like playable top 4s.
Interesting.
This is not a great one. This is an okay one.
Okay.
We covered one, which is from the 80s. Same year, I'm not going to help you.
Bullet.
The same year as Back to the Future.
Bullet.
No, Bullet's like the 60s.
Okay. I'm going to keep guessing then. Sure.
Bullet came out in 68.
Cool. Times mean nothing to me. We played this game for years.
But you could remember Bullet and be like, this doesn't feel like an 80s movie.
No, not really. You could have told me late 70s, early 80s. I'd have been like, yeah, sure. All
right, so this guy, Sam Munoz reviews this movie, the one that we're trying to get, the one that we did. Possibly the greatest movie ever made. The greatest movie ever made about a guy that is astoundingly, hilariously, amazingly bad at his job. 5 stars.
Bad at his job.
The villain in this movie, the bad guy in this movie, is Willem Dafoe. The music...
And you said it's an 80s movie, so this isn't like Spider-Man 3.
No, it's an 80s movie. Yeah. We did do Spider-Man 3.
That's what I mean, so that's what I'm asking.
Wang Chung did the score for this movie.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight?
Mm-mm. I love this movie. I think you love this movie too.
I have no fucking idea what it is. 80s Willem Dafoe.
Uh-huh.
So not Boondock Saints, because that's way later. What was Willem Dafoe in that I saw early? I don't remember. I don't remember Willem Dafoe not looking like he's 65 at all times.
Willem Dafoe does something in the opening of this movie that people are like, oh, we probably shouldn't have shown him doing that, because like that gives people knowledge on how to do something illegal.
Is it how to live and die in LA?
To Live and Die in LA.
Excellent, excellent, excellent movie. I love this. And by the way, I was talking to one of my buddies months ago, and we were talking about something in a movie, and I said, like, oh, yeah, it reminds me of, like, that movie, To Live and Die in L.A., and he was like, what? I can't believe you've seen that, too. And we, like, had, like, a long discussion about To Live and Die in L.A. But also, that's the one with Grisham in it, wearing the Mike Webster jersey. Grisham from CSI is the main character, and he's wearing a Steelers jersey in the movie. Excellent movie. I didn't know Willem Dafoe was the bad guy in that.
He's the bad
guy,
guy, yep.
Okay.
All right. Sam Munoz's number 3 favorite movie is the third movie. Okay, this is not going to help you. This is the third movie in a horror franchise that was just sort of requeled last year.
Scream.
No. Another one.
Okay, DJ Khaled.
The requel to this was very bad. It was a Blumhouse one. So
not Halloween? It's not a Halloween?
So David Gordon Green did this too, and he was going to make 3 of these movies. And this first one was kind of so hated and tanked so bad, they're like, maybe we're not going to do the next 2.
Halloween? Was it Halloween?
No, he made 3 of those. And people like those.
Okay. But it's the same guy that made the Halloweens.
Uh-huh. He's like,
and
I'm going to do this
another
other
one
thing,
last year.
This other movie that people loved, this horror classic, I'm going to do a sequel to. And they're like, why are you doing this?
No, It made 2. They made 2 It's, and it wasn't last year.
No.
Saw?
No.
What horror franchise ones came out?
Year.
I know. I'm trying to think of the sequels that came out last year.
The original, again, doesn't help you. The original movie came out in the 70s.
Yeah,
this one is the original movie, Believer. The subtitle was Believer.
Exorcist
3. People love Exorcist 3. I have not seen it in forever. People love Exorcist 3. Sam Munoz loves it.
Okay.
I don't know that you've heard of this movie.
I never watched Exorcist 3. I like the Exorcist 1. I've never seen the second one, I don't think. So.
I don't know that the second one's good. People say the third one is really good. And then Believer stinks. Sam Munoz's number 2 was another movie that came out last year.
Okay.
If you paid attention to Oscar snubs and Golden Globes or Golden Globe stubs, Oscar snubs, people were like, I can't believe this movie got no awards. And people were like, well, it's about how dumb actors are. Of course, actors aren't going to vote on it. Movie that came out last year. Actually, a movie I think you would really like. I don't know if you watched this or not.
I don't know either. I'm working my way through the best pictures list now.
This got no Oscar nominations. Completely snubbed.
Interesting. And it's about how dumb actors are.
Kind of. I mean, it's not okay. It is a comedy, but you could also watch it and be like, there's nothing funny about it at all.
It's satire, but not comedy.
Kind of. It's very strange.
Okay. What is it?
Starring Natalie Portman. Brunette Natalie Portman.
Not to be confused with blonde Natalie Portman.
Julianne
or blonde. Moore. Nope. Nothing.
Have you heard of the movie May December?
Nope.
So this movie is about Julianne Moore.
Is that the movie? Is that
the movie's called May December? Yeah. Again, like
no, I've never even heard this title. Go ahead.
So May December is about Julianne Moore. Is like the manager, I think. No, is she a teacher? She's a teacher. And she falls in love with her 7th grade student.
Okay, I'm into it.
And
nice.
She gets pregnant and goes to jail.
Okay.
And then this movie is like 20 years later, and Natalie Portman is playing an actress who is portraying Julianne Moore in a film adaptation of her life. And
okay, so they're like making a Lifetime movie about Julianne Moore.
Well, it's not a Lifetime movie. In this universe, there's been a Lifetime movie made, and now they're making a quote-unquote real movie.
Oh, okay. I like the premise of this. Keep going.
And so it's Natalie Portman goes to spend, time with Julianne Moore and Charles Melton, who plays, her 35-year-old husband now. And it's that story.
Wait, so she gets out of jail and marries the kid that she had the kid with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm into it.
So it was on Netflix. It was also in theaters. It's still on Netflix, but it's directed by Todd Haynes, who did Carol. Okay. Todd Haynes also did Dark Waters. He also did Safe. He did Velvet Goldmine. But, I love May December. I think it's trashy. Like, it's the kind of movie that's weirdly, you could think every single scene is funny, or nothing in the movie is funny. It's so weird.
I feel you. No, I get it. That's a lot of Lifetime movies, to be honest.
But this is like a high production value, great actors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was, it was hard to find. That was like the best of the four, and I'm like, you don't.
No, you did good.
3
You did
December,
excellent.
So. All right. Well, that was Ferrari. Our next episode, we're kicking off lap 14 with the Fast and the Furious. But before then, I want to just give a special shout out to our patrons.
Ooh.
Cassie Wilson, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleiman, Brian Rodriguez, aforementioned, of High School Slumber Party. Wes Hampton, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden, Renato Di Donato, Michael McGann, Lane Middleton, Lindsay Lewandowski, Nate Milton of the Kings of Sport, Jason Rainey, Tom Price, Mike Gallagher, Josh Buckley of Whole Lot of Wolves,
Yep.
Michael Moser, their lap is coming up very soon, starting next week, Christian Larson, Tara New One, Aaron Willozen, Natalie Absolute, Randy Carter, and Josh Goularm, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all so much for supporting us at the $5 a month level or above. Patrons get a bonus episode this Monday of Turbo Kid, Tara's pick.
Oh, yeah, we recorded that. That one was fun. Okay.
Next week, we'll get the Fast and the Furious, and we are into lap 14 then. Do that thing. But for all things, do you have anything else to say or no?
Ferrari wins the Constructors' Championship in F1 for like the next 17 seasons in a row.
Sure.
And I hope that they go on like the biggest dynasty ever. And Lewis Hamilton says Mercedes sucks. There was a video that came out.
Did you like him before he came over to Ferrari?
I loved him. I have my buddy that I got to make the F1 shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the Charles Leclerc one, who's like the main driver for Ferrari,
mm-hmm.
and the Lewis Hamilton one, even though I don't like Mercedes because I love Lewis Hamilton.
Okay. So so this
Lewis
is like a
Hamilton's
dream
great.
come true. Okay.
Yes, like Lewis Hamilton is great. He's like
Yeah, but like Tom Brady's great and people hate him.
But Lewis Hamilton's hard to hate. He speaks out for good causes. Like the F1 got mad at him because they said that he was wearing too much jewelry, which was like saying he's not quarterbacky enough.
Oh, I know who Lewis Hamilton is now because of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then Lewis Hamilton wore like 3 watches to like the next press conference.
Yep.
Like Lewis Hamilton's a certified winner, an all-around great dude from everything I hear.
Cool.
Like he is like the dude. So
got it.
Yes,
got it,
I did love Lewis Hamilton.
Well, Ferrari Dynasty starts today or whenever.
Today. It does.
For all things Too Fast, Too Forever, go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFastTooForever, or at TooFastTooForever, anywhere you can do that. Email us, family@cageclub.me. We've got a Life in the Fast Lane coming up in a few weeks. Get those emails in now. Check out our Patreon page at TooFastTooForever.com. Bonus episodes galore right now. Turbo Kid, and then 2 more coming up in the next 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So very, very cool. And then also maybe more after that as we start on the lap 14 bonus picks. Store at cageclub.me/shop, and come back, as we said, next week for the kickoff to lap 14 with Walt Hickey and Kim Basine as we talk about the original 2001 The Fast and the Furious. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too.
And we will tell you all about it
when we see you again.